Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information so that you can make an informed decision at the ballot box. So, we've got a great show for you today. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's welcome my co host, Charles, all the way from New York. Yeah, welcome.
Lancia.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, I've got some whiskey right here, but I'll save that a little later in the show. Lloyd won't be joining us. For those of you who don't know, his wife Judy passed away Thursday. So, uh, our condolences to Lloyd and the Mendenhall family. Uh, our hearts go out to you, and sorry for your loss. So he will be busy for the next week or two. Judy's funeral, from what I understand, is Wednesday. So she will be buried at one of the veterans cemetery in the area there. So that's great. That's good.
Now,
Good.
was she a veteran, or is
Yes,
it
she
because
was.
Lloyd was a veteran?
Well, they were both veterans.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, Lloyd was in the Air Force. Yeah.
well, I remember him mentioning being in the service. I just didn't know if Judy was.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe she was probably more clerical stuff. And so she, oh, no, you know what? Being married to Lloyd, she qualifies for being buried at a military cemetery. Yeah, that's right. Because my folks are qualified to be interned at Fort Logan here in Denver. So that's what I made do with their urns that I have in my bedroom. Before I leave for the Philippines, I will have them interned there. So let's say hello to everybody in the chat. We've got Brian, Waypoint, New England. We got John, the Pro Cut, and Dominic, as Dominic Papa Sergio. And we got, Michael, Mr. B, Outdoor Misadventures. Welcome. So, today the big story is it's more of a local story here that Congressman Ken Buck, who had said a few months ago that he wasn't going to seek reelection, has now decided to resign. So I believe this Friday is his last day. So since he's leaving before the primary and the election, there's going to be a special election, I believe, in June or July or August to fill that vacancy. And then that person will have to run again in November. So here's the tricky part. Lauren Boebert has decided not to run in that special election because she would have to resign her seat in CD3 to run for that special election. So she is going to wait until the primary, which is in August, which makes everything a lot tougher for her to get that seat, or at least run for that seat in CD4. So that's what's going on there. So I get this email every so often. It's called Rhino Watchdog. And boy, they are just bitching and moaning about this whole thing. And they're taking pot shots at other Republicans and Republican columnists, and it's no wonder this state is so screwed up in the Republican Party, because nobody wants to work together to defeat Democrats. They just fight amongst themselves, and then we end up with a weak candidate that gets beat in the general election. It just pisses me off, and that's why I'm not even, involved with the primary here in Colorado. Yeah. So I just saw Steve Knowles. Welcome, welcome.
Yep.
And Ronnie, God bless America. Welcome, welcome. Yep.
And
So,
if a Republican doesn't come into that seat that Buck is evacuating,
well, it's a
well,
solid red.
that'll tip the balance in the House, and then Mike Johnson will no longer be Speaker.
Right. Well, the thing is, that district is solidly red. Republican is going to win that seat. The last Democrat that won was Betsy Markey when she defeated Marilyn Musgrave back in 2009. Yeah. And she was just a one-termer. She got bounced right out of there after that because she voted for Obamacare, which was very unpopular here in Colorado because everybody's insurance rate just went through the roof. And so she got trounced out. And it was not, yeah, it was, I think it was Cory Gardner was, yeah, no, trying to think. No, it was Cory Gardner was going to run for House and Buck was going to run for Senate. They decided to switch. Buck became the congressman and Cory Gardner was our senator for, I think, one term when he defeated a Democrat incumbent, Mark Udall. And then Cory Gardner got beat by former governor John Hickenlooper. So that's why Colorado is solidly blue now, because the demographics here in Colorado have changed. A lot of people moving in. We gained a congressional seat, and it's people from blue states moving in. People from California, Washington, Illinois, Michigan. We do get quite a bit of Texans moving here, but I bet you they're all from Austin. And but and they're younger people that just don't understand what's like to live in a one party state where the Democrats run everything, and it this place is going to hell. People are dying from fentanyl overdoses, and the Democrats don't want to make it harsher for people who possess or knowingly distribute fentanyl, selling drugs that are laced with
Yeah.
fentanyl. They don't want to do that. As a matter of fact, they want what are they called? Safe injection sites. Imagine that. Ugh, boy. Some of the things.
What does that mean? They're inviting people to come in where there's medical personnel there to
Make
jack
sure
them
they
up
don't
if they OD.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, Yeah, I think once that gets established, what you're going to do is you're going to invite more people to do drugs, and it'll just overwhelm the system to a point where there aren't enough people to observe all these addicts. I mean, we don't have enough right now. We got people shooting or smoking meth on our light rail lines here, on our buses. It's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah. And we got a huge homeless problem here. And we got a lot of illegals moving in, from Central America, Central and South America, and moving into Denver. They come through Texas and they get bussed up here. And Denver is a sanctuary city. So once you say, hey, come on in, you're going to invite all those people to overwhelm your your system.
Yep.
And that's what's happening is now the Denver City Council, they're cutting back on services now. So there you go. And they can't figure out why this is happening, you know? But these people of Denver, they voted for these people and they deserve the government they get, you know. And
Yep.
same way in your state, except you're in the red part of the state. So at least you have some fairly level headed city council people and maybe county
Well,
commissioners that holding back the craziness and keeping it down, down in the downstate part of New York, keeping it down there.
well,
Yeah.
not really, because they're just transporting people up here from down there,
Oh boy,
just
that's
like they did
crazy.
when COVID hit. Was they started sending. It's like you don't want to. They're trying to do all this stuff to stop the spread of the disease. So what do? Transfer COVID patients up here where it hadn't been yet.
Right, right. Yeah,
WTAF question mark exclamation point.
yeah. Yeah, so down in Georgia, I guess the state legislature, they're looking into Fannie Willis and they're looking to have her removed. And then I guess what is it,
Yep.
the appellate judge has refused to remove her, just said,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's just a crazy,
Yeah.
crazy show going on down there. It's like, uh, and she lied under oath. I mean, that should be grounds to dismiss her from the
Yeah.
case. You know, it's crazy. So
And
that's
her
what's
job.
going. And then you got the case in New York where uh, Trump has to pay. Well, he has to post a $90 million bond. Otherwise, they're going to start confiscating his assets. And I'm like, going, that's crazy. Yeah, and this is all over what happened with the loans,
Yeah.
where
Where
there
there was
was no
nothing
crime, nobody,
illegal nothing illegal going on there.
yeah, hmm yeah, it was just all that was a fishing expedition to find a crime or make up a crime and
Yeah.
have a trial and get some uh, Trump haters to come in. I This is, well, the Trump attorneys, they've got their hands tied. They can't dismiss every uh, person from the witness, or not witness. What's that called? Oh God, what is that called? When jurors. That's
Yeah.
so yeah. So I mean, there are so many people they could dismiss, and then they're stuck with a bunch of people that hate Trump. Uh, yeah, that's right. Pro cut orange man bad. Yep. Free shit good. Yep, that's right. Yep. And Ronnie, you're right. She should be disbarred and
Yep.
arrested. Yep. Yep. So yeah, and who was that guy? He's a realtor. He's always on Shark Tank. The bald
Well, they
guy.
call him. I can't remember his name. They call him Mr. Wonderful.
Yes, and he's all up in arms, saying, "Wait a minute. What
Yep.
next? Are you going to go after me? I mean, where's this going? Because they did this. Kevin O'Leary. That's
Yes.
right. Yes. Uh, yeah, it's just going to open up the floodgates when you got people that politicians don't like. They can go after them and take their property, their assets, and disbar them from doing business in the state for X amount of years. That's crazy. I mean that goes against the Fourth Amendment. And but the Constitution doesn't really matter to Democrats. It's just a roadblock, and they figure ways to get around it. And they find friendly judges to rule in their favor so that they could pretty much do what they want to do. Yeah. hmm That's right, Ronnie. Government overreach. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So instead of all of this hurting Trump, all it's doing is, making him spend money to defend himself. He's even more popular than he was back in
Yeah.
2016. And even the blacks are starting to say, "Oh, wow." When they saw his mugshot, that gave him street cred. So now they're starting to, you know, embrace him. So that may hurt the Democrats, and the Democrats are pretty much ignoring the black vote because now with all these illegals, they'll just go after the Hispanic vote. Yeah,
I think that could backfire on them horribly.
I
Hopefully.
I, I think so too. I just saw a video on YouTube. This is Red Eagle Politics, and they were talking about the presidential map and how RFK Jr. plays into the race. And the way they explained it is they were talking about who, how does RFK hurt Biden versus Trump? Uh, Probably not as much for Trump, but probably hurt Biden more because RFK Jr. is left of center. He's just not as far loony left as Joe Biden. So he's probably going to peel off a lot of votes from disaffected Democrats that are pissed off at the way the Democrat Party is going and vote for him. And I don't think he'll get any electoral votes, but if he does, if he gets one of those lightly blue states to if he gets a few electoral votes, that could really hurt Joe Biden. Uh, And so they looked at the map and they talked about the red states versus blue, and then they did the lean Democrat and lean Republican, and Trump gets over 290 electoral votes. So he'll probably end up winning with just as many electoral votes they did in 16. He may even get more with if he gets a few key states like Pennsylvania, Michigan. He'll definitely get Ohio. But yeah, if he gets a few of those states that Biden won last time, then he could do pretty well. So, hmm.
It'll be
So
interesting to see what happens if Michelle, aka Big Mike,
yeah, Big Mike.
runs.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't believe that they would just sit back and not try to get Biden out of it with somebody who could win.
right, right. I've been hearing the switch may happen either in May, but most likely it'll happen later, like in August during the primary. Which are they in Chicago this time around?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they are. Let me look up. Okay, Democrat. Oh, Democrat convention. Convention 2024 will be in. Yep, Chicago, Illinois. I was correct. And Republican. Convention, and that will be in. Which will be held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So they will be like just up north of the Democrat primary. Oh, cool. Interesting. All right.
When you said that, I could hear Peanut from Jeff Dunham's Routine saying in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how, I mean, even if they do replace him, will it really change much, or will it be a big change? I don't know. This will be a very, very interesting presidential cycle.
Yeah.
The last one was weird. I mean, I was just dumbfounded by voting going on through the night, or tabulating. It's what they were counting the votes. And yes, Ronnie, I do have your email address, and your package will be on its way. Let's see. Yeah. Your package will go out tomorrow. Your toffee. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, what else? So it'll be interesting to see all the slogans for each party. How the Democrats are going to turn on the ultra MAGA. I could see Trump T-shirts coming out saying ultra MAGA. I even had a Deplorables 2016 shirt. Yep, but still have. Yes, Ron, I could get you his his email address, and if you'd like, I could give you his mailing address as well. Pearlcut says the last one was stolen. Yes, there were irregularities, but I don't know if it was enough to really, change anything. Yeah. I mean, there definitely was shenanigans going. But, how about that? Where was that? Was that in Atlanta or Philadelphia where I guess the water pipe broke and they had
Atlanta.
flood? Yeah. And and then they stopped the counting. And then when they came back, all of a sudden there were these new votes that showed up. And ballots being left in trunks of people's car all of a sudden showing up. And it's like, no, it's the way it should be and the way it's always been. There's a cutoff, 7 p.m. If the ballots aren't in by then, that's tough cookies,
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's when the polls close. And this all got jacked up because of COVID. Because a lot of the states decided, we can't have in-person voting. We got to have mail-in voting. And that's so they decide to change the way they voted. And there were a lot of people that were voting multiple times where they got multiple ballots and sent them in.
Yep.
And there were even dead people that were voting. Somebody signing someone else's ballot and sending that in. So
I actually saw a guy, a tweet where some guy publicly admitted to voting for Biden 29 times.
Wow. That's crazy. So, I don't know. Some people were floating the idea of voting via internet. I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to be scary.
Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm. So
maybe we should just put it down to a cage match between the two guys.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they ought to make it a double elimination, and for Biden's case, they ought to have a walker race. Where they got one of those walker, the ones with the wheels on them, and see
Yep.
how fast they could get around the track, or if they can even finish going around the track. Like around the gymnasium. Yep. How many pull-ups can they do? How many sit-ups? So, another video that I saw earlier in the day, they were talking about TikTok. Remember how last night we were talking about TikTok and how unsecure it was, and but I saw this guy and he's conservative. He goes, well, actually, TikTok has an LLC out of the Caribbean, and the president of the company is from Singapore, and the actual and their servers are at Oracle. So the way he explained it kind of changed my mind about TikTok. For a while there, I thought, you know what? Yeah, maybe we should, squelch TikTok. And then on the other hand is, no, not really, because it is a a publicly held company, but even though it does have ties to China, the all they did is they had some businessmen that started the company, got an LLC, and but it's all offshore of 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 China. Although the parent company is ByteDance, which is it's either in Beijing or Shanghai. I'm not sure. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence now. Part of me is like, oh God, I don't know. Chinese, and it's same way with the whole drone thing. You
Yeah.
know, so how much data is going back to China? I mean, it's already illegal to fly around infrastructure. Like uh, power substations,
Yeah.
dams, uh, and places like that. And you can't fly near prisons. That's a big, obvious no right there because of
Plus,
idiots
it's not
flying.
like the drone can. It's not like the drone unless you're spending like huge money, like Draymond kind of money on a drone can get
Right,
you any information that a spy satellite couldn't get you a lot easier, or that
right.
I mean they have don't they at some of these facilities have like tourist days and times when a bunch of people can come and see the facility.
Yeah.
So you send
Mhm.
somebody in with a cell phone, and there you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Hoover Dam. They've got tours going through there where you could see the turbine room and the generator room and all that stuff. So yeah.
Plus, I'm
So
sure there's plenty of publicly available information on these places.
right. Hmm.
You know,
So yeah. So with all this squawking about Chinese drones, and it's just driving me crazy. So, what other political topics are out there?
uh, well, I don't. I would consider them to be political. I don't know how much you or our audience would be consider them to be political, because they're in the video gaming space.
Right.
But there is a company, and there's more than one, but the big one that came to everybody's attention recently is a company called Sweet Baby Inc. And their their whole motivation, they hire on as one of these DEI consultant firms, and they're the ones that are pushing the woke agendas into video games.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's costing video game companies millions upon millions of dollars.
Right. Right.
It's pissing off a lot of gamers.
Hmm.
And so there was this one guy on Steam that set up what's called he curated. If you start up a group to put a list out there of stuff, you're called a curator. So he put a list out there of just publicly available information of games that this Sweet Baby Inc. worked on, and they have they have called upon their faithful to report the group to try and get it banned. But that just made the group grow larger.
Right.
And I thought I heard that one of these the employees or the owner of or CEO or whatever of Sweet Baby Inc. Got restricted on Twitter for trying to for the harassment campaign that she tried to start up.
Uh, okay.
You know, um, they've talked about how if they how their people if their people are working in a company and the higher ups don't really want to work with them in terms of getting this DEI stuff in there, that they are to go to the people in the marketing department and threaten them and frighten them about what could happen if this stuff doesn't get put in the game.
Right. So,
You
like,
know,
what kind of woke stuff are they putting in? Like Grand Theft
well,
Auto, they gotta pull over to
um,
help some old
there
lady.
there may be some stuff in, well, I don't know. There's a GTA 6 coming up, but I don't, because it's coming up and maybe not for as long as a year. I don't know what sort of woke stuff might be in there. But we're talking about things like there was a game called Starfield, and in order to continue, you started the game, and in order to continue on with the game, you had to choose pronouns.
Oh,
And
okay.
then later on in the game, you are exposed to a character who's supposed is a female, but she eventually admits to being a clone of a male character from another game or something.
Okay.
So you get stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. There was another game called Suicide League, or Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, where all the bad guys from this Suicide Squad, if you'd seen the movie Suicide Squad, you're familiar with the characters. Just very briefly, the Suicide Squad are villains that the government hired. Well, they sort of hired them on. They're villains that the government already had a hold over, and they're like, okay, you can either go to jail or you can go on these suicide missions for us. That's why they're called the Suicide Squad.
Ah,
But eventually, at some point in time, they get out of control. Get manage to be able to break away from the government.
well,
And they released a game recently called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, where the Suicide Squad members kill all the members of the Justice League. They kill Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Flash, Aquaman. Okay, and they there are in the game there are write-ups, sort of like dossiers, that can be read about all the superheroes,
right.
and all the male superheroes, every last one, is talked down about in the dossier. Wonder
Uh,
Woman is the only person who they say honorable things for in the dossier and give her an honorable death. In the game, the character Harley Quinn, which is the Joker's, well, was the Joker's girlfriend until it no longer was politically correct for her to be the Joker's girlfriend.
ah,
Um, uh, Kills Batman. She's just they've beaten the crap out of Batman, and I don't know. He's on his knees, but he's not like, he's just, he's able to keep himself up, but on his knees. I don't know why he couldn't have fought back. And she just stands there for like, 30 seconds or a minute dialoguing with him, and then pulls out a gun and point blank just puts a bullet through his head.
nah,
Now, I mean, that is considered by virtually the entire gaming community as being the most disrespectful thing to do to that character,
right.
because he was like, well, killed like a biatch,
Hmm.
and killed by a female character as well.
Right.
So you've got all that kind of stuff happening in there,
Mm-hmm.
and the game lost. The game has lost untold millions of dollars. It took them, and I was stunned when I found out this. The
Wow.
game cost like $250 million to produce. That's like a Hollywood film,
Yeah.
and the losses are from it are staggering,
Mm-hmm.
because not only is it a horrible story, but it's
Right.
horribly made. It doesn't work right. Uh, there are things that happen in terms of, well, like you get very little actual playtime. Like you get a little bit of playtime, and then it goes to what's called a cutscene, which is like a little miniature movie before you get to play the game again. And there's more of these cutscenes showing what happens than there are the times when you
Right.
actually get to play. So you sit there and you play for 5 minutes, get a cutscene that lasts 15 or 20 minutes, then you play for
Right.
5 minutes, and it's all, all together. It's just a piece of garbage.
Yeah, it's like some
And
of these games that
they,
you get on your phone, you
yeah,
play along, all of a sudden, oh crap, there's commercial. Or
yeah,
they'll give you a choice. They'll say, "Oh, you want to pay $1 or do you want to see a commercial?" No, and then
kind of,
yeah,
but you've already paid for the game. So you've
right,
paid like $70 for this game, and the cut scenes actually tell the story. They're not like a commercial. They tell the story, but it is that kind of an interruption,
mm,
and they've lost untold millions of dollars. I don't.
yeah.
I mean, I was following along with it for a little while, but I don't remember how many millions of
Uh,
dollars the game has lost.
uh,
But
did
it was a
people
lot.
were there people that want demanding a refund or something? They played
Yes,
along. You going, hey,
yes, yeah.
this
They
game
play it for a
sucks.
little while and go. This was terrible. I've got complaints. I want my money back. And so then they would get their money back and have to delete the game from their hard drive or delete the game from their Steam account where people can play games and so on and so forth.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just insidious how the woke agenda has wormed its way into video games
Well, into
and
everything.
yeah, everything. It's like you can't even. You got to be careful at work. You can't compliment anybody because you're afraid you might offend somebody by saying complimenting some woman on. Ooh, hey, that
You look
belt
lovely
looks,
today.
or your hair looks great. You know, uh, your hair smells great, and that's how I get hauled into HR. Anyway, because I'm short. Anyway, all right, okay, over to Charles' head. Hmm, yeah,
Oh, okay. Yep, I get it now. I get it now.
uh, because oh God, I got this happened to me years ago. Uh, we had this Japanese lady. She's Japanese American, and so I said, "Good morning. Are you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed?" And she got all pissed off and I'm gonna tell Princess. Princess is our supervisor, and I just kind of rolled my eyes. I thought she was just yanking my chain, so to speak. I didn't take it seriously and went about my business. And then an hour or so later, I get this art, you're wanted in HR. Like, oh, so it was just myself and my supervisor, and this lady wasn't there because they didn't want to give her the satisfaction that I got hauled into HR because we sat there at the table and I just told them what happened and we looked at each other and just started giggling, just like, oh my God. And they just explained,
Hmm.
well, you got a complaint and we got it, even though we know that this is, they didn't say bullshit, but they know this is
Yeah.
nuts. They just had to do it. Like, all right, you know. So, so it really didn't hurt me down the line. So, the company ended up getting bought out, and the new owners pretty much just tore apart the company and sold off a bunch of assets and moved everything to Indiana. So yeah, so it didn't follow me to my new job. So that was a weird one. That was uh, so I did finally get my 401k transferred over. Yeah. So thank God, one of my former coworkers, who I got her the job at the company I work for, and she gave me all the information on who to talk to, and they said, "Here's what you gotta do. You gotta go to your 401k and say I want to transfer my money, and they'll give you a check, and you just mail it to the company that or the people that are doing their 401k." So basically, I went from Edelman Financial to Charles Schwab. It's basically what I did. So Ronnie says, I got confronted in a drone's live stream this morning for referring a female as Miss. Oh, oh my. God, I don't. And she's not really a drone channel. That's Little Amalora. She's more. She's into trivia games, and I've been on that, done that stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's just like way beyond me, and by the time I get I figure out the answer. Somebody's already answered. Yep. Yep. That's right, Joey. And sadly, here in Colorado now, the Democrats are going after charter schools. They want to get rid of charter schools here, which is they're all about local control, but it's only local control to not to help us, but to take away more rights. Yeah. Oh, it was on Chris Hope's stream. Ah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's what's up. I mean, even in our entertainment, look at how my favorite space show, Star Trek, even
Yep.
that got all woke with the Discovery. And they're supposed to, I guess the last season is going to start up in April. And I'm to the point where screw that. I'm not going to watch the
Yeah, you
last
don't care
season,
anymore.
because that last episode of the last season, just pissed me off so much, where they had who's that gal? Sharon Abrams, is that what her name's? She's the gal, the fat black chick that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams, yeah, that ran for
They made her the
governor.
president of the Federation.
Yeah, no, she was president of Earth, and
Oh,
that
okay.
really turned my stomach. And it's like, you got the most racist person in
Georgia.
in Georgia to play president of the United States. And it's like, because she obviously hates white people. Because, yeah. Oh, Black Mrs. Claus, okay. Oh, with the white Santa, yeah. Oh, yeah. Even in the TV commercials, you've got a black gal with an Oriental guy, or a white guy. Because the families are either multi-ethnic. It's just like, oh, come on, this is getting crazy.
It's like you don't need to be pushing that stuff in commercials. As a society, we've been heading
Right.
towards that quite organically and calmly now for what, 20 or 30 years?
Right. Right. And I mean, it's gotten to a point where, this is like 30 years ago that people pretty much don't have any animosity. They pretty much accepted the gay lifestyle. Now it's gotten to a point where they're keeping pushing it in our face, and it's starting to piss people off. And I think that's another thing that's helping Trump. So I think people are starting to get fed up with all this woke crap. Yeah. And gee, I'm surprised it hasn't gotten into race cars yet, where they have to have a diverse not yeah, they gotta have diverse cars. You gotta have your Volvos and your VWs. You can't just have all GM cars or all Toyotas. You gotta diverse. You gotta have all kinds of Can you see the love bug racing around at a stock car? That stock car means you take a car off, the lot and turn it into a race car. That's what it used to mean. Now, basically, you take what looks like the body of a car, which is just either a fiberglass or aluminum frame that's bolted onto a chassis, and
Yeah.
you may have the frame and undercarriage and engine that stop, but everything else is just uh, fabricated. Yeah, that's right, with the fake hangman's noose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right, cool cat. hmm And I saw another video earlier today that George Carlin talking about education, how education is screwed up, and it's going to stay screwed up because of the people running it. Because the way he put it is he put it like businesses owns education. And they don't want to change it. They want to keep it crappy and put out idiot citizens, and so they could be easily manipulated. Yeah. And and then there was you know who Michael Knowles is? He's
Yep.
a political commentator, and no, it was either he or Ben Shapiro, where they were talking about how social media is being used to manipulate young people. And they had this young gal who was crying because she ran into a group of Orthodox Jews on the street because she was like upset about the genocide in Gaza. Oh, come on. I mean, these people, they want to kill every Jew in Israel. It's like, wow, it's crazy. And that's how these young people are manipulated. And Ryan Macbeth showed us how you could use TikTok to generate, pretty much like a flash mob, where you could get a call to arms and you could tell people to go disrupt traffic in a certain. Yeah, that's what they were doing during the Trump administration when these jackasses were blocking the freeways. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to buy the whole network to do that. That's a taller order than Twitter. But I think he's trying to buy Disney. Boy, if he could buy Disney and just change that whole crap show. Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
Mark
Mark
R.
White
White.
showed up the last minute.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then we got Jay Bird. Joey, good to see you. Great. Good to have you. So we're up to 14 watching. That's pretty good. Now, if we can get well past 50 views, that would be nice. Last night's show was really good. We had a good crowd right up until the end of when I finally shut it down. Yeah. So we've done a little over an hour. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming, and hopefully you found this informative and somewhat entertaining. You all have a great week. Lloyd won't be having a show tomorrow night, so hopefully he'll be back soon. I like his shows. I like being on his shows.
Yes.
So
Well, he lets you get away with a lot, Art. He lets you get away with an awful lot.
I'll probably do a short live stream on Wednesday, to kind of fill in the void for Bill. I just won't call it drone therapy. I'll call it, maybe I'll call it not the drone therapy show. That's what I'll do. And and don't forget, what I got in the mail yesterday was the Lego drone. So I will show that. That's either Wednesday or Saturday. So everybody have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Good night, folks.